Hey guys, Analog Man here, back for another deck profile, and as you can see from the title, we are finally looking at the other cyborg in the room, Aegisdramon, or however you pronounce it, Aegis. That's how I pronounce it. But he's the other cyborg that we got in EX3, and I have honestly been agonizing over trying to figure out how this deck works. I know how it works because me and my friend actually did play the Waymon deck. Shout out to my friend Jason who showed me how busted that deck could be when he played it one time at locals for a tournament. I was like, okay, that's weird. And then he actually beat me with it against my Gaiomon. So I was like, dude, I gotta know how that deck works. This deck is essentially an evolution of it because you can now basically just spam the board with like your digi sources, and it's like yes, it does open you up to stunning from Blue Flare, but at the same time, you're swarming the board so much that potentially they're gonna not be able to stun your whole board, and you can swing in for game later on, which is crazy. Like, honestly, like this deck is actually really fun, and as I said, I it took me so long, honestly, to figure out like the build because the deck runs like really weirdly depending on what you put in it, and my initial build was really weird. I don't know what I was thinking honestly with it, but it just didn't work. I bricked so much with that build. It just like I would draw all level fours, I would just or draw all level fives, or I'd just draw all rookies and nothing else, or I would just draw all my level sixes. It was I don't know what was going on with that build. It was just really weird how it worked. It's weird because I ran memory boost, I read the Tamers, and I just could not get it to work. But finally, I managed to get it to work, and surprisingly, it's not because of a lack of stuff. It was just the excess of stuff. I reduced a lot of things, and it actually kind of surprisingly it streamlined the deck. So I'm here to show you that streamlined version that seems to function actually like a real deck finally. And as a real deck, it is insanely fast. This deck being blue has access to a lot of things. You have access to Hammer Sparks, you have access to Ice Wall, you have Blue Memory Boost, you got stuff that can remove sources, just so much toolbox with blue. Like, it's just insane. But anyway, let's get into the profile so I can show you what I mean. So first off, for the eggs, we are running 4 Bukamon because you're going to be playing a lot of Digimon from sources, and you want that extra memory. I've actually been able to have like 2 Digimon with 2 of these each. So then when I play something, I gain 2 memory off of it, which is really crazy. And we are actually getting a new Seedramon level 5 in BT11 that also gives you a memory. So in conjunction, if you have like 2 of these and that, you basically gain 3 memory back, and you can just keep evolving. It's crazy how the deck works. But yeah, you have to run 4 Bukamons. The other eggs kind of work for it, but Bukamon works the best because it's giving you extra memory, and it works in conjunction with summoning stuff a lot. So I would say just run 4 and you should be fine. That's all the eggs we run. For the level 3 rookies or child level Digimon, we run, of course, 4 Gomamons. This is kind of weird how my rarities are, but I do plan to grab more AAs of this card. I want to get 3 copies at least to match this, to make this deck really nice. But Gomamon is still really good. It doesn't have an inherent, but its on play is really powerful. You just get to draw 2 cards, and you can play out like multiples of this guy sometimes in one turn, so it's really great. But yeah, you have to max out on this. This is literally the best Gomamon to run in this deck because you're just going to be summoning it all the time. Then we run 4 of the Dracomon. Dracomon, originally, I wasn't really running it, but then I realized, like, looking at its effect, I was like, oh, cool, it can search Drummons, and, like, about like 30-40% of this deck is Dramon, so you usually do hit something that you can search with this guy. Plus the fact that he's a level 3 that searches, like you can replay him because almost every single effect with this deck says play a level 3 blue Digimon or Sea Animal or Aqua Digimon. So you can just play this, and it doesn't matter if it's not, the typing it needs, but the fact that you get to play it and search it is really powerful. So I run 4 of this because I just need searchers, and it's actually a little bit better than just running blue memory boost because sometimes like your opponent could be playing a rookie that stops you, from gaining memory. So it's kind of better to just have a searcher Digimon sometimes. So yeah, we have 4 of him. Then we run 4 of the new Crabmon. This guy is really cool. On play, one of your blue Digimon gains jamming for the turn, and when it's played from a Digivolution card, you may place one blue level 5 or lower card from your source. Basically lets you play one from your hand underneath a Digimon. So basically, you get to like summon this out and then replace it with a level 5, which is really cool. And this, like in conjunction with one of the level 5s, you can give it jamming, which is really cool because it's like the level 5s in this deck are slightly weak, so giving them jamming is really powerful. Also, the fact is that you get to reload the source again at the same time. It's very powerful. So you have to run 4 of this. This guy is a crucial card to the deck. Then we run 2 Goblimons, the BT1 version that draws. You can, as I mentioned, you can play this or this off of the effects. So evolving this and raising doesn't really hurt you because you get to just replay it later on anyway. And then hard playing this to pass the turn is also still very viable. So, you know, 2 of this is very solid. Originally, I was thinking of trying a different rookie. I was thinking of trying the Gomamon that like trashes sources, and I did. It didn't really do anything in this format, so I feel this is better because you just want to get as many cards as possible to set up your combos or your evolution line, basically. So having this as a draw power is really crucial. Anyway, we run 14 level 3 rookies. And I feel that's actually plenty enough to the point where you actually see them. Before, I think I was only running 11, so I barely saw them. But at 14, you're going to see them all the time. For level 4s, we run a kind of weird variety, but let's just start off with one of the best guys in the deck, Cordramon. Of course, as I mentioned, Dracomon can search him, but he's also security Digimon. So if you hit this guy in security, or your opponent hits it, I mean, you basically get to draw 2 cards, and you have a level 4 blue ready to evolve into level 5, or in another case of one of the level 5s in this deck, you get the Jogress. So really solid, and kind of wish I had more of the participant ones, but you know I only have one at the moment, so it's whatever. But this guy is a obvious staple for this deck because you need more draw power, and this guy helps with that. And the fact that he's an extra body if hit in security, so very nice. Then we run 4 Tobimon. Tobimon, honestly, he's one of my favorite blue level 4s because he's a 1 cost and he's a 3 cost. So he's so cost effective memory wise. I just love him. And the fact that you can just replay him because he is a sea animal type. So you can replay him multiple times if you need to sometimes. So very cool. Then originally I was running 4 of this guy, but I switched him down to 3, and it's actually really good now. Like at 4, he bricks your deck, but at 3, he's just right. For anybody that doesn't know what Aegisdramon does, on play, one of your blue Digimon gain blocker. And the cool thing is that if you played it from the source of a Digimon, that Digimon he just gave blocker to, he unsuspends. So that means if you swung with him, gave that guy jamming, and then you summon this guy out with a different Digimon's effect, you get to unsuspend that guy, and now he's a big-ass blocker. And I've been able to do that with Aegisdramon, so it's really cool how that works. It's just, oh man, it's just insane how this, like, I've been able to actually stall D Brigade with Aegisdramon because I basically just, I had a Coelamon blocker, and then I turned another guy into a blocker, so I blocked both of his D Brigades from swinging in, especially his big one. So it was really cool how it worked. Um, then for the last level 4s, we run 1 Lobo and 1 Koala. Originally, I was running 2 Koalas, but sometimes it would brick. And then I realized that sometimes like I could have won if I had had a hybrid. So I put in 1 hybrid just in case, like, you know, there's that moment where I'm like, okay, I can win if I just have 1 more attack and I have the memory for it, but I just didn't have it. So having Lobomon for game sometimes is actually really crucial. And Koalamon, you know, he's still a really good blocker and he's a 1 cost. So, you know, why not? He's really decent. But yeah, we run 8, 11, and then 13. So we run 13, and it's actually not too bad. You see these guys consistently enough that you can evolve on top of your rookies and raising, so it's really solid. For level 5s, we run, of course, 4 of the brand new Megaseedramon from EX3. This guy is really cool. When attacking, you can play 1 blue level 3, and as I mentioned, you can play Crabmon and then reload his source and give him jamming at the same time. It's really cool. And then his inherent is also it's basically the same thing as his when attacking effect that he has by himself, but he gives it to the Digimon that he evolves into, which is really cool. I love how he works, and he's an obvious staple at 4. You have to run 4. Don't run any less than this. He is literally one of your best Digimon in the deck because he just lets you play out stuff, so it's really powerful. Then we run a 2-2 split here. We run 2 Chimeras, and then we run 2 Waymons. Uh, Waymon is still kind of iffy for me. I mean, sometimes he goes off, and sometimes I miss the time, just miss with him sometimes. But I feel like once we get the new Seedramon, I might take him out because I like that one more because it gives you an extra memory. But for now, Waymon is really solid for this format right now. For this format. And then Chimeramon is really gross. Originally, I did not run 2 copies of this or even 1 copy. I just ran a straight like 4 Waymons and 4 of this, and it just felt kind of weird. But now with this, I can Jogress with 2 level 4s on board, and as you can see, the level 4s are kind of cheap, especially Tobimon. So if you play it right, you can potentially just Jogress into stuff and then minus and kill their rookies, and then at the same time, you can evolve into like your Plizio right there and just go in. It's really crazy. Like I never understood why people put this into the deck, but now after trying it, it's really nice. Like it's really powerful, and I highly recommend running 2, at least 1, because it's just Chimeramon is just so generic and so powerful in every deck that he's just an obvious staple sometimes, you know, especially in decks that can spam like level 4s so fast, especially this deck. So this card is very crucial to the deck, so I highly recommend trying it out. Anyway, that's all the level 5s we run. We run exactly 8. For level 6s, we actually run about 6 as well. Here, we run 4 of the new Plesiomon. I'm very sad that this card doesn't have a higher rarity. Hopefully, maybe it gets a reprint in the future, but this card is just so good that it deserves a reprint. When Digivolving, you basically get to play a blue level 3 or 1 level 4 lower Digimon with Aqua or Sea Animal in it, and you know you don't have to pay the cost, which is really awesome. Then you get to tuck a blue Digimon underneath it, so it's very powerful. You can actually equip like a Metal Seedramon, and then you evolve it into Aegisdramon, and then you can summon the Metal Seedramon and bounce their stuff. And at the same time, his inherent is also really busted. All turns once per turn. When you play a Digimon from a source, you can return one of your opponent's Digimon of the same level to the bottom of their deck. So you basically summon Metal Seedramon, bottom deck their level 6, and you get to bounce their level 4s at the same time. So it's really crazy how that works. And it's just specifically from the level 7, just basically playing it out, which is really crazy. So this is an obvious 4, especially if you're playing this deck. This is a staple. You have to have the 4. Then for the other level 6, we run the 2 Metal Seedramons from BT2. This guy has barely seen play since that era, and now finally I get to finally play with these AAs, and it's amazing. The fact that this guy can't be blocked, and the fact that it's actually easy to summon, like hard play him now. So I love that we can do that, especially because he's one of my favorite cyborgs from the Dark Masters alongside Machine Dramon. So very cool seeing him finally like get use. And of course, you know, placing him underneath Plizio like this and then replaying him when you go into your level 7 is just amazing. It's awesome. Anyway, and that's all the level 6s we run. We run 6 exactly. And yeah, let's get into level 7s. We don't need to run any other level 7 except for the boy himself. 4 Aegisdramons. I got really lucky that my group pulled the alt arts for him. I pulled 1 alt art, and then these 3 are from my local. Shout out to my friends here in Sonoma. Basically, we basically bought a bunch of boxes of EX3s from one of our local stores, and we managed to basically pull a bunch of these. Actually, like this is only a few of them. We actually pulled more. It's kind of weird because we barely pulled the alt art of Chaosdramon, but we pulled a bunch of Aegisdramon. So you know, I had to trade for these because this guy is a really cool cyborg, and his effect is really cool, and his art is really amazing. So I had to get this, and yeah. Basically, this guy's really busted. For anybody that doesn't know what his effect is, when Digivolving, you may play 1 blue level 3 Digimon card or 1 Digimon with Seedramon, Aqua, or you know CMO, you know that type of stuff from this guy's sources without paying its memory cost. So it's just insanely how powerful he is. And then he even has a ability on your opponent's turn. On your opponent's turn, if they play a Digimon, seriously, if they play a Digimon, you get to basically just reactivate his when digivolving effect, and you get to just summon something from underneath one of your guys. So as long as they don't have that rookie that stops you from playing stuff by effects, you basically just get to summon something and bounce something, or bottom deck it basically with the help of Plesiomon. So this guy is an obvious 4 of. I was weird thing. My original build that I mentioned earlier ran only 3 of it, and it was just miserable. Like you never saw him, you never got to him, and I could just never summon him. But here with this at 4 and with the Draco searching and all the other stuff, I see this guy so consistently that it's like every turn I can maybe make one, or like at least make one. It's really crazy. And this guy, like, I just love his artwork and I just love how he works. He's just so powerful. So yeah, and he helps swarm the board. So that's the plus. Anyway, that's all the level 7s we run. The rest is just Tamers and rookies, but as you can see, most of the deck is monsters, so we have a very small amount of Tamers and options. But yeah, let's get into it. One Sorai. Sorai, honestly, I was going to play Ice Wall, but sometimes this comes in clutch because your opponent could try to swarm the board, and it actually stuns their entire board if you manage to basically strip all the sources. So really cool. This actually works really well against like decks like Jesmon and stuff because they summon a lot of Digimon that have no sources, the sister mons. So this can potentially strip their Jesmon of almost all their inherits and stun their entire board from basically attacking except for Jesmon. So it actually gives you an extra turn to basically like do stuff. And I don't know, I just really like this card. Like the artwork also looks really cool. So I'm down for it no matter what. Then we play one Kaiser Nail because of course this deck loves summoning stuff from sources. So very powerful card still as a 1 of. These are my only 2 options. The last 3 cards of the deck are actually 3 Davis because Davis is of course a memory setter, and the fact that he searches a blue card. So very powerful. And yeah, that's basically the deck. In testing, shout out to my friend who helped me test this on Discord. She was really helpful. She was really helpful with it because I managed to like basically just swarm the board with this deck. Surprisingly, like I was expecting honestly during the test to just brick on me, just not function properly. But we did a best out of 3, and almost both the matches I didn't bring brick a single time. And then while we were waiting, while she was setting up her camera a little bit more, we actually like I was just testing the deck again, and it's insane. Like I didn't brick a single time in almost all my like test hands and everything. It's just insane. Like I don't know what the deal is. Like I thought maybe more searching might be better. More blue memory boost, more options. But I feel like by putting in those, it gave a little too much excess. And it kind of made the deck a little bit bloated. That's like the best way to sum it up. It was like a bloated whale, basically. It's like Waymon, but like bigger, and it just couldn't do anything. And I think that was the problem. Like by streamlining it a little bit, this deck finally started working because the whole point is to just digivolve, search out your Digimon, and just keep evolving and just keep playing stuff from underneath the source and just continuing lines basically over and over. And by doing that, I feel like the deck actually works better now, without all the options and stuff. But yeah, this deck honestly, I feel like it's not like it's not really high up in tier. I would say it's like tier 2, maybe tier 1.5, because it has the potential to be really powerful. Because if Bloomlord Mon can do it, this deck can do it. Because this deck actually has more removal than Bloomlord. I've seen how like this, like just in action, just playing this deck, it has enough removal that it's just as powerful as Bloomlord, as if or even probably more powerful sometimes in certain cases. So I feel that if Bloomlord can do it and become tier 1, this can too. Because this deck it has all the tools it needs to do what it wants to do, and it's getting more support in the future. So I honestly feel that if you pilot this deck correctly, if you keep your cool, I think you can honestly pilot this deck to victory. It's a very fun deck. It's a very solid deck, and it's very competitive. I still need to do more testing, but in my test, I feel like it's very solid, and you can do a lot of things with it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you thought of the deck. And of course, um, some of these cards did get erratas. Yes, I'm aware of the erratas. I know that it's like Sea Animal, Aqua, all that stuff. I don't need people commenting about the erratas. I know about them. If I missaid anything, that's my bad because, I'm still learning this deck and I'm still like fully like trying to remember everything. Like I actually misplayed with Crabmon a few times when I was testing. I totally forgot about the little 5 tucking part. So that's on me, but I already know the erratas now, and I'm just pointing it out at this moment, so so we can clear the comments of that. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.